Well, guys, what a beautiful day that is. The sun is shining and spring is just around the corner. Or not. Well, the reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to talk to you about a product of my creative genius that I found is so great that I just have to share with you. Alright, and with that I just completely lowered your expectations, so let's jump right in. The thing I'm talking to you about is what the hell are you going to do when the camera is shitty and old and can't take clean photos at night? Well, I have the solution for you. The only option to take great photos at night with a camera that can only take shitty photos is to make it look intentionally shitty. You know, it's basically what film photographers do every day. And because you are smart, you are adapting to it. And I mean, if you can say that you made it shitty intentionally, then I don't see why you shouldn't consider this as a pure piece of fine art. And well, guys, if you're too dumb to read the title, what I'm talking about is taking photos with a high ISO on your digital camera. The thing is that a lot of people have hopped on this trend that at night they're just supposed to lower their shutter speeds below the border of taking sharp photos, so they just take blurry photos and say, oh well, this looks so artistic and moody and stuff. But this is not what we're trying to do. This is not what you're trying to do, because you want to look unique and everybody is doing that low shutter speed shit. You want to do something unique. Even if it's shitty, you want to do something unique and you're doing something unique. So you crank up the ISO. Why high ISO, you might be asking? Well, the thing is that every day we see so many photos, and the thing is really just something unique will be something exciting. And as we are creatives and as we can work around certain situations, you can also make those hard circumstances work for you and create photos that are emotionally touching without being like the emotionally touching photos that you see every day with like low shutter speed or simply with low apertures. So the main argument is kind of like uniqueness, but I mean, who knows what's going to be popular in a few years. And I mean, then you can say, oh, well, I did it in 2021, so you're kind of gambling with it, but I find that it's a fun way of taking photos. And what this is going to result in is a photo that is pretty grainy, or well, it's not grainy, that's a term you shouldn't say about digital high ISO grain, because you will make a lot of film photographers mad. It's rather considered as noisy, and now it's your turn to work out how to use those raw files and how to create a nice image with it that is able to get that feeling that you're trying to achieve. Now you're probably asking, well, how far should I crank up the ISO? Well, the thing is that for my personal use, I wouldn't recommend doing max ISO or like one stop below max ISO, but for example, my Sony A7, which is very old camera, has like a max ISO of 25,600 or something like that, and I found that the sweet spot that you're trying to hit is like 12,000 ISO, and if your camera is newer, then you can probably go up a bit further, but I also found that at like ISO 12,000, when it's not like completely absolutely dark, like at night with the sky packed full of clouds, then you're still going to have nice results if you're using a lens with an aperture like f1.4, which is obviously what I'm doing. And you know, I'm a sucker for primes, but if you're using zoom lenses, you can do that, but well, obviously there's a difference between f1.4 and f2.8. I personally prefer the f1.4 because it helps in those certain situations. I mean, shooting at f1.4 isn't just going to bring in a lot of light, you know, it's also going to give the creamy bokeh. And in addition to the high ISO that's supposed to make your photos, you know, emotionally touching or something, the bokeh is just going to highlight this, and it will support the effect of the high ISO. Well, I'm someone that normally in post-processing pushes my photos quite a bit. I'm underexposing by like 2 stops and then bringing it back to get like highlight detail. But this isn't something you should consider doing when taking high noise photos, because the thing is that in the shadows it can start to look really muddy, and often it turns a bit red if you just push it like 1 stop further than you exposed it. I find that this will give you the best results. And well, now after all this talk, you might still be wondering, yeah, well, but I mean, I've taken some photos with my camera over 1000 ISO and it looks so shitty. I don't believe you that you can make great photos with a high ISO. And well, my only words for you are stick on to the video, because now you will see the example photos that I've taken using this method and trying to achieve this style. And well, with that, I hope I encouraged you to try out this method and try to make it work for yourself. Try to stand out, try to be creative, you know, always think outside the box. I hope I gave you a little lesson here today. And well, with all that said and done, take your camera and have fun!